Hi Flosstube, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. It is July 31st, 2022. I cannot believe it is the end of Christmas in July or Jolly July stitching. I cannot believe that school starts in 10 days for my youngest son. Wow, this summer has flown by. I hope you all have had a terrific week. It's been a hard week here. Not gonna lie, we're gonna leave it with that. I did not sleep good and several nights, which is odd for me. And I also haven't felt great. And my oldest son was really smart. He was like, it's probably because you have some anxiety and you're not feeling good and then it's causing you to not sleep good. And he's so right. Because I always say sleeping is my superpower. I know a lot of people struggle with falling asleep. That is not me. I am the person who lays down and falls asleep, and I also require a lot of sleep. And to function where people like me, I always say you don't like me if I've not had enough sleep because I am super grumpy. And that is just something that has always been the case. My parents always laugh about it because when I was little and they would like have friend couples over or families over on the weekend or whatever, and the kids would all run around and play. My parents would be like, "Where's Nicole?" And they'd be like, "Oh, she told us to get out of her room. She wanted to go to sleep." I don't really remember this, but it is like a crystal clear memory for my parents and also those friends. I still know them. And so it's kind of funny, but not that I was that way. And I still am a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed now. My friends probably can attest to that now. Anyway, long story short, I haven't done a lot this week. It's just been a long week. It's been kind of a long, hard week. Thank you guys for all of your comments that you leave on Flosstube. I appreciate you guys so very much. Welcome to all of our new members and subscribers to the channel. I am so glad you guys are here. As always, there will be timestamps down in the description below. I do want to remind everyone, please subscribe, click the like button and also the notification bell so you're always notified when I have a new Flosstube video. With that being said, let's just move straight into Q&A because I have a lot I want to share today. I want to do a Jolly July recap. I want to talk about my September, oh my goodness, August plans. I want to kind of show you my calendar and what I think, what I've planned for this month. It can always be subject to change, but I love to start a new month with a stitching plan. It really does help me. And let's see. Oh, I want to share like some fun fall charts with you guys. Maybe if you're looking for a fun fall start, I know a lot of people are really into stitching fall and Halloween right now. I have a huge collection. So I'm probably going to pick one for an August start. We don't need more than one. I already know this. My friend Shari told me that I like to stitch all the things we've been talking this week. But yes. So with that being said, let's do some Q&A and then let's get into sharing some cross stitch. Let me grab my screen. Linda says, I know you don't use a finisher, but can you recommend a finisher that will do pillows and finishes that need sewing? So I actually don't have firsthand knowledge of this, but I did ask my Facebook group. I have a private Facebook group. I do have the link in the description down below if you're interested in joining. You do have to answer some questions like, what's the group about? What are my fur babies' names? They're Odin and Brody. You don't have to do both of them. I just need to verify that you actually watch me. And then you need to agree to the group rules. So I asked in that group and I have several suggestions. I have 4. One, I don't know if they actually finish. Again, I don't have firsthand knowledge of any of these people, but they were recommended by other stitchers. So Artie, the Vintage Stitcher, Finally Finished, Starry Night Studio, and then Welcome Stitchery has some really awesome finishes, but we're not sure if she's a finisher or not, or if they are. Again, I don't have firsthand knowledge. I wrote all these down to dive into, and I just have not got a chance yet, but you can bet I will. You know how I love my Flosstube videos. Kathy, I absolutely love how your quilts turned out. I was wondering if you could suggest where to start with quilting an easy pattern. I would start, and I gave a link to this when I answered her, and I will put a link in the description below as well. There is a beginning quilting video series from Fat Quarter Shop. I would highly recommend checking that out. And then I would also suggest, I gave her a link to like beginner patterns from Fat Quarter Shop, and I would pick something you're interested in. I would pick something that doesn't have a lot of triangles, half square, triangles, flying geese. My first quilt was all squares. In fact, I think it was like a charm pack and then some yardage. Just to get yourself familiar with terms, with quilting, with matching up seams. That, for me, that was just a really easy way to start. And then as you start developing your skills, or if you feel comfortable and you just want to dive right in, do whatever you want to do, whatever lights your heart on fire there. But that's how I started, and it really kind of helped me with, again, terminology, lining up seams, the 1/4 inch seam allowance, and things like that. So I will add those links to those down below. Tanya, I am trying to prep for the Welcome Autumn Stitch Along question for the fabric. I've decided to use 14 count Aida, and I see the size of the finished product, but I don't know what size to cut my fabric to start. Considers herself a new stitcher. And my answer to this, and my answer always to this, because I may not always know what fabric you're using, and that is going to make a huge difference. In the description, and always in my videos down at the bottom, I have a link to the cross stitch calculator from Fat Quarter Shop. That's all I use to figure out my fabric, because it allows you to input your the stitch count from the pattern. You just input that directly from your pattern, what fabric you're using, whether it's 14 count, 25 count, 32 count, whatever it is. And then you pick how much of a border you want to leave. And I am going to kind of expand on the border, because that's going to make a difference how big you how big you cut your fabric. 2 inches is probably enough for any kind of finish that you're going to do like yourself. Let's say you're going to put it on sticky board, you're going to and make a full finish that way. Or if you're going to make a pillow, let's say, or something like that. 2 inches is probably enough. You could probably get by with less. I tend to err on the side of caution, and I generally always cut my fabric 2 inches bigger. Now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, framers would like a 3-inch border. The good framers, they're going to want a 3-inch border around the edge, so it gives them some play. I believe they call it lacing as what they do when they frame it, or at least the good framers. So you are going to want to leave a bigger border if you think it's something you're going to frame. Sometimes I leave 3 inches even if I think it might be something that I'm going to frame. 2 to 3 inches, you should be safe. So you input all of that, it kicks out exactly how big to cut your fabric. And that is literally what I follow every single time. And that's what I would recommend to all of you. Linda GK23, what size did you cut your fabric? Again, I would like to tell you to go use the calculator, because I don't know what size count your fabric is, and I would hate to tell you wrong. Jessie B, she said HL, I think that's Hobby Lobby if I'm not mistaken, said to start in the middle and stitch, but Fat Quarter Shop says, I'm not sure if I understand this question. Floss over 2 threads. Can you show that again? This is on chalkboard, black 14 count Aida. And can you show the back of one of your projects? Also, when you pull 2 strands and go forth as you go. I have some Stitch With Me videos, and I would like to refer you to those. I will link them down below where I have shown that. 14 count, you are not going to want to go over 2 squares, or your design is going to be huge. You just want to do 1 little square. You can start in the middle. I know that is how I was taught. I have just changed as I've gone along. And I usually start in the upper left or at the bottom. It really depends on the pattern, and I try to talk about that. And I will mention it again as I go through some of my Christmas and July projects and kind of do my little WIP parade for July. I will show the back of my projects when I get to all of my WIPs and things as well, so you can kind of see those. And I am going to do a Stitch With Me Monday night for our Welcome Autumn Sal, and I will go over a lot of that. I will answer questions. The replay will be available if you can't join us, and hopefully that will answer some of those. If it doesn't, please shoot me another question or comment. Let's see. Oh, and you know what? I think I missed another question. How am I storing my leftover strands is something else Jessie wanted to know. Floss storage. So I don't I don't save all of the little bits and pieces of floss. It has to be a certain length for me to save because I just don't see the point. In fact, I try to use up that color on my needle before I switch colors a lot of the time. Just to me, I don't like to switch back and forth constantly. And so I might talk a little bit about that in my Stitch With Me Monday as well. But if I have leftover, like I use a lot of fancy floss, a lot of Classic Color Works, Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, I just put it back on the card. If it's DMC, I do have some on bobbins. I'm not loving bobbinating. I know I talked about that early on in my Flosstube journey. I really don't know how I'm going to share it going forward, but I will see. I don't keep a lot of the extra. So if it's probably like maybe like this, I won't even keep it. It just doesn't, well, even longer. I just don't feel the need to because I'm not going to be able to get very many stitches when next I use it. So I will grab a new length of floss. Now, I do save some, so I don't want it to make it sound like I don't save any. It's just, I find that it's just messy. I'm not real good with mess. That's just how I am. But I will share some photos of that. And as I figure out how I'm going to store my floss going forward, I will be sharing more of that. I will share photos here. I will share them on my community page as well as my Facebook group because I've had another request for floss storage over in Facebook. Lisa, I'd like to know where you get your name labels for your quilts. That is from Sweetwater. I do have a link in the description below. I belong to their club. So each month I get a new quilt. I wish. I get a new label. Sometimes it's one label, sometimes it's a couple. It's really fun. I love it. They're customized. They say my name on them, obviously, and it's just really fun. They have super cute stuff. They also are a fabric designer for Moda. They're one of my favorites. Long ago, fun story, they used to do scrapbook paper and a scrapbook line, and they were one of my favorites back then, back in the day. It's been a long time. They've been in the fabric world for quite a while now with Moda fabrics, and I love it. I have quite a collection of Sweetwater fabric. Janice, does Lugana 2028, I cannot talk, come in black chalkboard, and where do you get it? As far as I know, Lugana does not come in chalkboard black. I purchased the charcoal gray 32 count, which is going to be more the equivalent of a 16 count Aida. Remember, 28 would be 14 count Aida. But I purchased the 32 count charcoal gray to try. And I will add a link to that if you're curious at all. But there is a 25 count Lugana, but it's black. It's not going to be chalkboard black. It is black, which would be beautiful too. But I will add links to both of those below. Jenny, just curious, with as crafty as you are, did your I cannot talk. Did your kids pick up any crafty hobbies? And no, not really. For a while, my daughter did a few things, but she doesn't really anymore. My oldest son, I would say, is probably the most. He kind of likes to write a little bit and things like that. So I would say he's probably my most creative. Gabrielle also wants to know how I keep my floss. I will share that when I figure it out. Michelle, how do the Moda blockheads work? Do you choose which blocks you want to assemble into the quilt, choose fabric, and follow the instructions, or is there more to it? It is a free quilt along with Moda. So each week, I believe Tuesday, Wednesday, I can't remember, they release a new block. And they also have like some bonus blocks, they call it. And this goes on, I meant to write this down, but I forgot this week. Like I said, this week was a mess. I'm going to do a blog post because I was caught up until this last week, and then I haven't got this week's sewn yet, and I'm planning to do it. I know this video goes live on Sunday, but I film it on Saturday. But on Sunday, I'm going to do this last week's block, and I'll be completely caught up. I am following one of the Moda designers. So a lot of Moda designers and friends of Moda design blocks and they release them. They're free. The quilt block is completely free. There's a couple of sizes. I have a link in the description that's going to take you to the page where you can look at all of the blocks. You can pick which ones you want to do. You don't have to do them all. I am following one particular designer, Joanna Figueroa of Fig Tree Quilts. I'm going to do her setting. So I'm kind of doing the blocks she's doing. I think, unless I swapped one out that I didn't care for. But you can do that. You can choose which ones you want to do. And then at the end, I'm going to sew them into her setting. But many of Moda designers, and probably Moda, are going to have setting directions. So you can do a lot of different quilts. That Quarter Shop got, like, I think it's a free download for how they're going to set their quilt out, because they're sewing along as well. So you can really customize it. But for me, it's just a great way to learn to do some new quilts. And so quilt blocks. And so I've really been enjoying sewing along with it, trying some new things. And hopefully, if you try it, you can pick whatever fabric you want. You can pick if you want to do the big block or the small block. I have to say, if you're a beginner quilter, don't do the little blocks. They're real little and those points are real tiny and the seams get all bunched up. I would not recommend doing the smaller size. I would do the bigger block. That's just me. Do whatever you want to do. I'm a big proponent. Do whatever you feel like doing. But I hope that explains it a little bit. If you have more questions, please drop me another comment or email me. Jungle Abarya, I think. What does sampler mean when talking about cross stitch? Is it a category or design? It is a particular kind of design. It generally has like an alphabet in it. And it's just called a sampler. If you guys have a better description, can you let me know? I like them. I kind of feel like I thought this after I filmed the Flosstube where I said I don't really do samplers. I am doing one sampler for Christmas, which you'll see in a minute. But I have stitched them in the past. It isn't that I don't. It's just I am not a huge sampler person. There are so many stitchers here on Flosstube who do amazing samplers. I love looking at them, but that's not really my decorating style probably. And that's probably why I'm not drawn to that particular style of cross stitch, but it is kind of a category in and of itself. And I have found that sampler stitchers do a lot of samplers. I feel like they're beautiful, but generally they do have an alphabet in them. And if somebody has a good link to that, will you let us know? So, or if you have a better description, because I'm sure I did not do that justice. I'm sorry. Stephanie, when do you go live? What is your time zone? This is regarding my Stitch With Me that will be Monday nights, which is when I have my new my new weekly Stitch With Me Sal for August. And that is going to be 7 p.m. Central. And I am going to start my stitch tomorrow. Yeah, I get confused when I don't film this the same day. Tomorrow night. So, I won't actually put a single stitch in there. There's several in our Facebook group and they have completely done the first week or beyond, which you can. Do whatever you want. If you want to go ahead and get it stitched, do it. That is completely awesome. But I am going to start mine from scratch during the Stitch With Me so you can see how I start. I'm going to have some tips and tricks on how I start, how I measure, where to figure out where to start. and things like that. So if you want to do that, definitely come join me or catch the replay later if that won't work for you. I know it's super hard with so many of us in different time zones. I literally just had to pick a time that really worked best for me. I tried to pick an evening time so that it would pick people who are at work or whatever, that people who are working all day could come or attend. And I know that it's not going to work for everyone. And I tried to not make it so late that like East Coast couldn't attend, but I know that doesn't work particularly well for our friends across the pond and things like that. So again, catch it on the replay. Ask me any questions in the comments. I do read them all. And so I hope that helps. Terry, when you zigzag, you guys, I can't talk. Zigzag stitch. Do you do that to keep your fabric from unraveling? Yes, I do. And also, could you show a close up of the zigzag you have done on fabric? And I will. I will show that as I get into my Christmas in July and my WIPs and SALs. Okay, that is it for questions this week. Let me see. Oh gosh, you guys, it feels like forever since I've had an FFO, and I literally worked my little tail off to have this to finish. I literally just finished it today. So this is also one of my Christmas in July or Jolly July. Fat Quarter Shop just finished up their mystery letters to Santa Sal. This is a paid for PDF from Fat Quarter Shop. So cute. The whole chart is now available. So if you were waiting to see if it was something you liked, you can get it now and you can just stitch the whole thing. You don't have to do week by week. And I talked about this when I started stitching it, is that the border here is red, white, green, and blue. And I wasn't feeling it. And I left it for a long, long time. And last week I showed you I started doing red and white all the way around because I love the design. I absolutely love the design. I wasn't sure. Okay, so this is real talk. After the border and the letters to Santa, I was like, am I not gonna like this? And then came the cute little North Pole sign. And I've talked about this when I shared it that week. I'm all about little signs, card making, scrapbooking, little decor for the house, little signs like that I just absolutely love. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to love it. And then of course the little postage came out the next week, which I adored. And then the final was the little flower, the poinsettia and the little lines to make it look like a postcard. Okay. So without further ado, I said I was going to make a pillow. I made a pillow. Okay, I'm gonna have to close my blinds. Hold on, I'll be right back. I don't know if that made it better, but I feel like the light is really weird today. Okay, ta-da! I made this little pillow. It's about 9.5 by 7.5. I left so what I did, I finished stitching it, and I did do a red and white border all the way around. I love it so, so much. I think that change really worked for me. What I did, I left it the big fabric size that I stitched it on because it was much bigger than the 7.5 by 9.5 or whatever. I put interfacing on the back to stabilize it, and then I trimmed it 3/4 of an inch from this outer border all the way around. 3/4 of an inch left me, so I actually have about a 1/2 inch here because that other 1/4 of an inch is the seam allowance. And so this is my pillow. I used some of the Merry Little Christmas by Bonnie and Camille woven fabric on the back. Now it's a woven, so it's a little bit, I don't want to say flimsy, but I also put interfacing on this. I did not do a zipper finish. I actually just did a pillow or a finish, and then I did a ladder stitch to shut it. I stuffed it, did my ladder stitch, and then I did a chenille trim all the way around. I wish you could feel it. This was how I imagined it. It's going to be so cute. I'm going to take some photos of it and hopefully share soon on my Instagram. I'm going to tuck it into the little crate and stuff, but it turned out amazing. I think it's going to be so cute, and my Christmas decor, and I absolutely love it. It stitches fast. It really does. Once you get that border, you guys, it stitches so stinking fast. And I've seen so many in our Facebook groups stitching it now, and I'm really excited. So FFO, Letters to Santa. I love, love, love it. This was my only Christmas finish for July. But I say that, you know what? I'm proud of myself. I'm glad I got one fully finished. I love it. All right. Next up, let's do a Jolly July recap. None of these things did I touch this week. My goal was to finish my Letters to Santa. Let me move this. But I do want to do a little WIP parade, and then we will discuss how and when I will finish these. So first up, Have a Cup of Cheer, which I had really wanted to finish, but not going to happen. This is by Cherry Hill Stitchery. Love it. I probably still have all of my needles and everything in here too. Nothing has changed since last week. I have a couple top lines of text, but this is going to be the first one I work on. I would like to get this one finished first. I've just decided I'm going to just start working on them. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about August plans. I'm sad that I didn't get any more done on this, but I will. This was Christmas Rules by Lizzie Kate. So it's going to end up being all of this, which is a lot. And I'm still at the exact same place I was when I first started this. Boo. Oh well. I'm going to work on it eventually. Then we have Jingle Bell Cafe. Goodness. Jingle Bell Cafe by Stitching with the Housewives. And I was really trying here, and I just did not do that great. So here's where I'm at on Jingle Bell Cafe. Same place I was last week. I think part of the problem is I wish I had started on the 32 count charcoal Lugana, but I'm not starting over. Not starting over. Okay, I'll be right back. I need to get a design board. Okay, and then my final, so I had 5 July projects and I finished 1, so these are my 4 remaining WIPs. This is Rudolph's Sampler. So this is a sampler by Little House Needleworks, and see how they've worked in a design into the letters, the alphabet. This is considered a sampler. And I love this one. And this is an example. Oh, I was going to show you the back. I'll show you the backs of this one and some of my other projects too. This is an example of, I did not start in the upper left corner. I started at the bottom. And I started at the bottom because it had a nice flat area. And because the top design kind of has a curve right here, and that's going to be hard. So I started at the bottom, so spacing wise, I could make sure that I was working correctly. And I am loving this. Absolutely loving this. I'm excited to get back to this one too. All of them will get done in time. All right. That is it. That's my Christmas in July, Jolly July WIP parade. I am going to talk about WIPs and SALs. So WIPs first. I had mentioned, and I had actually shown several weeks ago, the Stitching with the Housewives month-to-month August. And I started this one on 14 count Pale Gray Gingham by Fabric Flair, because I had leftover of it, and I don't want to stitch on it. That is and I didn't come back to it for a couple weeks because of it. I started over this week, and this is something I spent quite a bit of time on, and probably why I didn't get to my Christmas in July projects. I was going to show you the back of that fabric. Duh. Okay, I will show you on this one. This is my new start. This is 32 count pale gray gingham. It's the same color by Fabric Flair. See, it has that little gingham in the background. I just love it. And this was a much, much bigger start than what I had before. I'm really happy with this start. I do have a little counting error right here. I'm going to tell you, I was a little bit PO'd. I did not realize I had that until I had all of this, because I started and did this whole border, and then I started all the green, and then I started with the yellow. And so it was I'm not ripping it out for that. So there might be a tiny little error, but I don't think when I'm finished that you'll be able to tell. Let me show you the back of this. I'm using all the called for colors here. Here's the back of it. So if you want to see kind of how the back of mine look, I have a few long little tails it looks like I need to trim up. I try not to leave too long of a tail. It probably doesn't matter, but I don't like messes on my backs. I'm not as good as some, but I really do try to keep it nice and clean. But that's where I'm at on the month-to-month August. This is kind of a priority because I already have September. I showed it to you last week. I'm afraid October is going to be coming straight after. I would like to get this done. These are going to be little pillows too. I might be a pillow finisher. I mean, not for everything, but man, I love them. Okay, that's the only WIP I worked on this week. Let's go on to our sales. So I have been stitching Boo Crew from Fat Quarter Shop on 16 count Spooky Hollow Ada. This is the Boo Crew. The whole chart was released this week. This will be done. This will be a full finish for next week. I just did not get quite there yet. Let me take my clip off of there. And here is where I'm at. So I do want to talk about this a little bit because you may notice some things in here that are not in the chart. You can see that I'm working on I did the outline of the EW and some of the candle stuff up here, and then I've moved on to the cat. And it's rolling up because I had my fabric rolled because I stitch in hand. But first of all, this fabric is perfect for me. But can you guys guess what I added? This was completely a late Thursday or Friday night decision. I thought we need some spiders. And I love them. I'm going to show you the chart they're from. I didn't put it with this. I found a chart that I had in my stash that I wanted to stitch, but I was looking through my Halloween charts for something. I think there probably will be one more spider somewhere in here or something else. I haven't decided, but I love it. I truly think this is such a cute design. The cat is sitting on a broom, so that will be here too. I am not using the purple floss. I am using orange instead, and that is only because my Halloween decor is not very purpley, and it was a lot of purple. The letters are pretty big and bold, and so I chose to not do purple. And I'll show you the back of this one too. And you can see it's only the front of this fabric that has the design. So there's the back of Boo Crew. And some hair, it looks like. Or maybe string, I don't know. So that's where I'm at on the Boo Crew. That is my priority for Saturday, Sunday. And then I did share this online as well as in my Facebook group. But I am stitching along with Fat Quarter Shop this year. It's a year-long sale. Doing the hands-on design, A Year of Celebrations continues season 2. We started with July and I finished my July. I'm stitching mine all as one piece on 25 count Prim. Yep, Prim Lugana. And there is the July. I love it. I am using Kimberly's Colors Classic Color Works. I did not substitute anything for this. at all. I'm stitching it as is. And I know so many of you said, like in the video, it's not good. You cannot tell the aqua border at all, but in the photo I shared on Instagram, it shows up so great. I think it's going to be beautiful. And then I guess here's my zigzag. I forgot to show this for Terry. I mean, so you can see the 25 count Lugana, I feel like really unravels, and this just keeps it from unraveling. And I'll show you the back of this one too if you want. And there is the back of this. Now, I traveled a bit because there's a lot of spaced out color, and I did not want to start and stop that many times. So here's a good example of Nichol not wanting to trim up and restart. I just traveled around. All right, so that's where I am. We'll be doing a little August stitching for the August month on that one this month. That also will be a August project. Okay, my last thing. Obviously, have not started this yet, but I want to remind anyone who's interested, and you can start anytime. I am hosting a Welcome Autumn Sal. This is the Primrose Cottage Welcome Autumn chart. You can download it, purchase it and download it from the Primrose Cottage Etsy shop and start immediately. You don't have to wait for purchasing a paper chart if you don't want to. I'm stitching mine on 25 count Barley Lugana, and this is the piece of fabric, and it's quite a bit bigger than even what the cross stitch calculator called for, but that's what I had, so I just went ahead and started it. I zigzagged the edges on it. I hope you can see that. So I'm ready to go. I am using all the called for DMC floss. Let me show you. It's beautiful. So there is my DMC floss. I'm so excited to get started with this Monday night. So that is the other Sal, and that will be a August project as well. Let me check my notes, see where we're at. Okay, I want to talk about August or July versus August. So I'm going to show you the calendar that I made for July, and that was my plan. I did not completely stick to it. I had some other things I needed to do, and it just didn't completely work out, but it gave me a guideline. I consider this more of a guideline instead of you must stick to this. I just like to have a plan, so I'm not wandering around just stitching whatever, because it does help me work towards a goal. With having this many WIPs started, having a goal is great. I have not cut this and punched it yet for my planner, but this is my August. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my August plan. You'll notice I put some words up here. I actually kind of had written these down months ago. Stitching with the Housewives used to, a long time ago, mostly before they started their own company or own charts and all of that. They used to do a lot of this stitching during the week, and they'd talk about it. I don't know if they came up with it or someone else came up with it, but some of it was like Santa Sunday, Merry Monday, Witchy Wednesday, Fall Friday, and then I think it's Stars and Stripes Saturday, but I'm not doing that, so I didn't write it down. And I also can't really do Merry Monday because I'm doing fall while we do our Welcome Autumn Sal. So that was where I started, because every Monday I am doing a Stitch With Me and doing the Welcome Autumn Sal. Well, at least we're doing 4 weeks. This last week, I will have an edited video with finishing on how I'm finishing mine. So that will go live this last Monday. That is my plan for Mondays in August. I did decide to go with Santa Sunday, and I decided what I'm going to do is pick one of my Jolly July projects, and I'm going to work on it till it's done. And that will be my Santa Sunday. So I picked Have a Cup of Cheer because that's my closest to being finished. When I'm finished with it, I can switch to something else. So I kind of have that as my guideline. When I'm finished, I'll move on to one of my other new starts from July, my Christmas starts, so that I can work on it. So that was my plan there. Tuesday and Thursdays are free days. For me, I thought I will work on Stitching with the Housewives August until I'm finished, and then I'll work on September until I'm finished, and then maybe start October, whatever, or work on something else. It doesn't matter. That's just kind of my plan. Witchy Wednesday, I'm going to go back to Halloween rules, and I'm going to work on Halloween rules all month until I get that finished. It's probably going to take longer than this month, but that's my plan. It'll probably even go into September, and then I can move on to something else. Thursday is my hands-on design that I just shared with you, the season celebration of seasons, a year of celebration, seasons 2. I'm going to do August until I'm finished, and then I can work on something else. And then Friday is Fall Friday. I am going to have a fall start of some sort. I have lots of fall charts. I will share some of those with you. I'm going to pick one. I don't know what it is yet. So next Sunday when my video goes up, it'll be a surprise for all of us. And then I'm just going to use Saturday as WIPs. If I want to work on some of these things, I will do that. So that is my plan. This calendar is a free download from Fat Quarter Shop. I print them off 1 month at a time. I've resized mine to fit Happy Planner, place it in my planner, and then it's always there. And it gives me a great guideline of what I would like to work on this month. I know I've had several questions. How do you plan it? How do you come up with it? This is just what I'm finding works for me. Obviously, if something else completely catches my eye, I'm going to work on that. I'm not going to work on one of these. But this gives me a really good plan on some of the things I do have. And as far as the WIPs go here on Saturday, I have a lot of starts. Like I want to do my Shine On sampler from Bonnie and Camille and things like that. I can work on those or one of the free days. So I hope that gives you a good idea kind of my plan. All right, that is that. Now that you've seen my calendar, I'm going to show you what all I'm doing. I'm not going to open up any of the bags where I already showed you, but the Welcome Autumn Sal is one of those. The hands-on design, that's one of my others. We're going to do August. And then Have a Cup of Cheer, which is the Cherry Hill Stitchery. That is my Christmas stitch that I am starting with. My other plans here for August. Month to month, September. I know I showed this last week that it had arrived. So when I'm done with August, I'm going to switch into September. I started this and I would really like to finish it before the summer is over. So this might be a free day stitch. It's Cherry Hill Stitchery Sweet Summer. And literally, I think if I would just sit down one evening and if I had like 2-3 hours, I probably could get this finished. That's all I have. It's still the same. So I'm hoping to get back to that. Love it. That's just going to be like a free day stitch until I get it done. And then, yep, Halloween rules. This is going to be my Witchy Wednesday stitch. Remember Halloween rules. Remember I had to put it in timeout because I got mad. Well, it's been out of timeout now, but it's been in timeout because I've been doing Christmas stitching. Here is my Halloween rules. I'm so excited to get back to this and get it all stitched up. Very, very excited to get to working on that again. Get Cassie her charts back that she loaned me. And then finally, I just mentioned it, but I want to work on my Shine On sampler from Bonnie and Camille from this book. And this is where I'm at. Still at the same place, but I want to get this done. So in August, that is what I'm going to be working on. And then as I finish, I'll put in finish certain things. I can kind of put in others. And when I figure out whatever fall start I'm going to have this month, I'll add that in. All right. Let's put all of this back here to be put away. Haul. I don't really have a lot this week, if you don't count pattern collecting. Apparently I'm a pattern collector. Who knows if I'll ever get to these, but I bought them all the same. So I saw that Fat Quarter Shop has the download patterns for the Finally a Farm Girl Matilda Mouse. I've wanted these for a while. And I saw that they got them in. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy these. So I bought the download patterns from Fat Quarter Shop. I'll have links to them down below. I want to do these for my studio. They're small stitches. I think they'll go fast. They're really cute. So I have Matilda Mouse. I bought Matilda Sews because we need the matching set. And then we have Scarecrow Matilda. Oh my gosh, is she not cute? Oh, I love her so much. So I bought all of these, again, from Fat Quarter Shop. I love it. And it's downloads. So it's fantastic because you get them immediately. For what? When am I going to stitch them? I'm a pattern collector. Hello, I'm Nicole, and I have a problem. It's okay. All of you guys are stitchers too, you know. Then, apparently, I'm just on a mouse kick. From Tiny Modernist, I got this off of Etsy. I got Mouse's Halloween stitching. I just couldn't get over the little skull and the crossbones on her scissors, and then like the pumpkin pincushion with the cute little pins in it. Yeah, I had to have this one too. When I say I just bought patterns this week, I just bought patterns this week. From Primrose Cottage. Of course. I blame my Facebook friends for this. And Shari. I bought this as Halloween. This is probably going to be my Fall Friday start. Because I had FOMO and I needed to get it. And I love Primrose Cottage. So, here is one of the charts I got. And then because, of course, I could not just leave it with one. Shari shared a finish of It's All Just a Bunch of Hocus Pocus, and I bought this one too. So those are my Primrose Cottage. Oh, and then remember those cute little spiders from my Boo Crew that I added? They are from Tiny Modernist. I don't know. Can you see them? I think the fabric that the models were stitched on is super dark. I don't think you can see some of this stuff very good, but that's where I got the spider design. I kind of customized the length of the spider little string, but it's from this. And these are cute. I've been wanting to stitch some of these. All right, that's it for haul. Like I said, I really just wanted all the patterns. So there's that. I'm going to share some fall and Halloween patterns that I already had in my stash. If you're looking for a fun fall start. So I shared this one last week, but I'm going to share it again this week. I downloaded this from Fat Quarter Shop. It's a paid for PDF because it's from Cherry Hill Stitchery, which I love. Autumn Acres. It's super cute. So there's that. Oh, this could be a Fall Friday, although it probably should be on Witchy Wednesday. It doesn't matter. Somebody in my Facebook group is stitching this and has quite a good start on it. It's Silver Creek Sampler's Flying Lesson. I know I showed this last week. I love it. I shared this one last week too, but it's Welcome Pumpkin by Stitching with the Housewives. That would be a good Fall Friday. Then, I bought these months ago. So my love of Primrose Cottage didn't just start. I bought like all the charts. Like the Welcome Autumn one we're doing for the Sal, I had already had for a while and I picked one of those. I also have Thankful that I want to do. So that would be a good one. I have Harvest Wishes and Pumpkin Kisses that I want to do. You can tell I've had these because they're in their little sheet protectors, all nice, waiting for me. Autumn Rules, of course, which is huge, but you guys, you can always just stitch part of it, or I did Hive Rules pretty fast. So I think this is completely doable. I really, really want to do this one too. What do I not want to stitch? And then I also have Happy Halloween from Primrose Cottage that I really want to do because I love the little witch legs here for the elves and Halloween. So, and then Cherry Hill Stitchery. I have 2 charts from them that I even have kitted up with fabric and everything. So I love Fall most of all, which I love, love, love the colors. And Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice. These totally match, so I kind of put these together because I want to stitch them together. This one's kitted, so maybe it's the one I should start for my Fall Friday. It's so hard to pick. So hard. So I hope maybe, I just wanted to share some things from my stash. If you guys were looking for some inspiration, if you want to kind of stitch like I'm going to stitch this month, where I'm doing a little of everything. You don't have to do it all at all. You can do, there's no rules. No rules is my go-to. I do have a tiny bit of Quilting WIP to share with you. I don't have my swoon along blocks to share with you this week. I had a secret project that I have to get done because it's being shared in September and you have to work pretty far ahead. I'm doing it with Fat Quarter Shop. And so I worked on that sewing wise this week, and I just didn't get any further in my block assembly for swoon along. So I will have that next week because my quilt I worked on this week is being sent to the quilter. So yay. I cannot wait to share it with you guys. I actually filmed some video for it. And so I'm really, really excited to share that with you guys. But it limited my quilting time just because I really needed to get that done for a couple reasons. A, it needs to be back to me so I can bind it so it can be shared for middle of September. And B, my time is limited because work is crazy for me in August leading into September and in September. Okay. But I did get, like I said, I had been caught up with my Moda Blockheads blocks, but there's one was released this week and I need to get that done. So first up, this is what I'm doing for block 11. You can see it was a bonus block and I crossed out, or I added 11 to it just so I can keep track for my own self. And it is called the zipper block. I have to say this was not one of my favorites to do, but I do like how it turned out. I love the colors on my blocks, so I'm really excited to see it all come together. So here is my zipper block. So there is one of them that I did. Next, this was what I used for block 12, also a bonus block. Some of these just didn't, the original block doesn't really go with the design. My quilt's going to be very summery. It's cherries. You can see that the theme is very red and green cherries. For me, it feels very summery. And here is this block, and it is called Wheatfield. I really liked sewing this one. I don't know why, but I did. Loved it. Okay. And this is for anyone asking, or the question regarding this quilt along. You download this and you can do a 9-inch finished block or a 4.5. 4.5 is going to be tiny. It'll be cute, but so tiny. So I'm obviously doing the 9-inch finished, which they're 9.5-inch unfinished. And this is block 13 called Evening Delight. Like this block a lot. Just like the design of this one. And here is my Evening Delight block 13 block. So I should have another couple for you next week, like I said, in my swoon along blocks. All the blocks next week. now that that big project's done. Although I just signed up for another one from Fat Quarter Shop that's coming out. We're not stitching until, I want to say November. Yeah, November, December. So that's a little ways away. Because I did not agree to do anything in August or September at all. And I guess that's it for quilting. Okay, let me get out giveaways. I have my giveaway winners from last week. I'm not doing giveaways this week. I'm not doing new giveaways this week. Just, it was a week. So, let me see. The winner of the Spring Britter Cup Designs pattern is Fran Baker. So Fran Baker, please email me. My email is in the description below. The winner of the raccoon chart, I had so many comments about this that a lot of people were wanting to stitch this. They've stitched other ones in this collection, is Allison Norris. Allison, please message me. And then my final giveaway was Black Ada. And remember, all of this stuff came from viewers. So thank you again for donating these for giveaways. And I have 3 winners, so I'll be sending the Ada to 3 different people, and that is April Osgood, Arleen Curry, and Sheron Egolf. So if you guys would all please email me. I will get those out this week. Thank you again for your comments and all of that good stuff. All right, you guys, I feel like that is it for this week. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I am trying to get to 100,000 followers here on YouTube, and every subscriber means so much to me. I hope you all have a fantastic stitchy, quilty, card making, crafty, whatever it might be week. Definitely join us over on Facebook if you haven't already, or if you'd like to. I have it a private group for a reason, so we don't get a bunch of random whatever. And I will have a link to that down below. Email me if you want a giveaway, and I will see all of you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new Flosstube video. Here is another Flosstube video that you might be interested in. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next week.